Hello everybody, welcome to another video. My name is Kayla from Planning with Kay, and as I sit here, it is December 27th, which means it's time to set up for January in my bullet journal. I decided that to end 2021 and start this new year, I wanted to try kind of mixing up how I do my Plan With Me videos. I'm going to be talking about this setup as I set it up today. Hopefully it's going to be a little bit more casual, a little bit more like we're just hanging out, setting up a spread together, and I'm excited to see what I come up with today. Like I said, I'm going to be setting up my new bullet journal for January. I'm using a brand new Archer and Olive notebook here, and this is going to start my new year right with my January monthly spreads. For the theme for this month, I'm going to be using my Desert Friends themed sticker collection. I designed this a few months ago and have just been waiting for the perfect time to use it, and I decided that January is going to be the month that I'm going to be using my desert theme. So I'm really excited about this theme. It's one of my favorite sticker collections I've ever designed, and I'm going to start off with my cover page. So this is going to be a full cover spread introducing the month of January, and I'm going to start off by using my watercolors. So I've gotten my colors all chosen here that match my sticker collection. So I got kind of a purple to yellow gradient for the sky. I got some greens out in case I want to do some watercolor cacti, but we're just going to start off this cover spread with a silhouetted desert scene. So I'm going to start off with my yellow watercolor and start to do a sky gradient here. Whenever I do color washes like this, I'm trying to work as quickly as possible so that the paint isn't just getting dry in between. Dotted notebooks are really good for watercolor, but they do dry pretty quickly. It's not like using special watercolor paper that can stay wet for a long time. So whenever I'm trying to get some nice blended color washes, you just gotta try to move nice and fast. So I'm going to paperclip these pages down just so that as they dry, the pages will dry nice and straight. Okay, so my watercolor background is basically completely dry now, so I'm going to start to go in with some black marker. I've got a couple options here because I'm not exactly sure what's going to work best, but I'm going to start off by trying to do an outline with my chunky black Crayola marker here. So I got my ruler, I'm going to take these paper clips off. I'm going to try to do a solid black outline, nice and thick with this black Crayola. I'm now going to use the same thick Crayola just to start to color in this dark floor we have going down at the bottom here. All right, now I'm going to use my Tombow Fudenosuke hard tip brush pen, my favorite black brush pen, and I'm going to go in and do the rest of all of my silhouetted details down at the bottom here. I'm curious how many of you actually live in the desert. I have some family in Arizona, and that's what this theme makes me think about. It makes me think of my grandparents in Arizona. But let me know if you are somebody who lives in a deserty area, if this theme feels like home to you. So with my smaller brush pen, I'm starting to put in some little details, like some rocks and little pieces of grass or just little plants and rocks that are along the bottom. And finally, as the last detail, I'm going to go ahead and put in some spiky needles coming off of all of my cacti. All right, so with my background all done, my silhouetted cacti scene, I'm going to work on my January 2022 header for this spread now. But I'm going to be using this page of sticker paper to create a ripped white header on top of this background. So I'm just gonna stick these right in the middle, and I'm gonna have my January 22 header on the left here. So here are my favorite alphabet stamps. I'm gonna use these stamps to create my 2022 header. So for my quote on the right side of my cover spread, I was looking up different like desert related quotes and didn't really find any that were too appealing to me. So I just kind of decided to make up my own quote for this spread, just kind of inspired by this silhouetted watercolor illustration. And that is going to be, "Let the light in even on the darkest of days." And I don't know, not really desert related, but for some reason that little quote is what popped into my head. So that's what I decided to do for my January cover spread here. So with my quote all done, I'm just gonna finish this spread off. I'm gonna put one of these desert flowers right below my quote. I think that's gonna be it for stickers. And then for the finishing details, I'm gonna put some stars up in my sky. And that is going to be it for my January 2022 cover spread, and time to just move right along to the functional part of my January bullet journal setup. All right, so this next spread here is gonna be my January calendar spread. This is just gonna have my main calendars for the month where I'm gonna write down all of my different events and tasks that are coming up for the month of January. And I'm gonna use this new listing in my shop. I released this last month, and it's these blank calendars that make setting up these monthly calendars super simple. I decided to use this orange colored one, which is going to match my theme here. So I'm gonna stick that in there and then stick this other side right over here. Next to my calendar, I'm gonna put this giant vertical cactus sticker. This is definitely my favorite sticker in this whole collection. I had such a blast designing this. Now for the dates on my calendar, I'm gonna use these number circles that come as a part of the desert themed monthly kit. January starts on a Saturday and ends on a Monday. Got my calendar all dated, so I'm going to grab my alphabet stamps again, and I'm going to use those stamps to label the days of the week at the top of my calendar here. All right, now I'm gonna create a header at the top of the spread, and I'm gonna use one of these headers from sheet 1 of the Desert Friends monthly kit. I think I'm gonna go with this one that has the little cactus wren with the cactus and the cool mountainous backdrop, and then use my same brush pen to letter in my January 2022 header on this spread. Okay, I'm actually not really a fan of this 2022, so I'm just going to cover it up with some white sticker paper and use my stamps instead. I'm gonna draw in a little line just going all the way across here. So to finish off, I'm gonna have just 2 sections on the left here. One at the bottom is gonna be my monthly bill schedule, and then on top of that, I'm just gonna have a small section to jot down any tasks or goals that I have for January. I'm gonna use this green number strip that matches this desert theme. I'm gonna use these little flag stickers from the monthly kit to label these sections here. One for the bill schedule, and then one for the monthly tasks and goals that's gonna be right above that. All right, I don't really like how this bill schedule box turned out, so I'm gonna flip to the back of my journal and cut out a piece of paper that I can use to cover this up and just redo that bill schedule right there. I also just remembered that I ran out of my normal adhesive roller that I would use here, so I'm actually just going to paint on some glue and use that to stick this in here. All right, and with a little bit of adjustment, I got my new bill schedule down here. Still looks a little bit funky to me, but it's gonna work. I'm just gonna leave it how it is and not worry about trying to redo it again. And that is it for this January calendar spread. We got my simple calendar right in the middle for my January events. I got a spot for tasks and goals. That actually reminds me, I want to put some black dots in this tasks and goals section so that I have that all ready to go and fill out with any upcoming things I want to get done this month. And then I got my bill schedule right below that for keeping track of all of the bills that are due throughout January. So with that calendar spread done, we'll go ahead and flip the page and continue on with the next spread in this January setup. So this next spread here is going to be a habit tracker for January. I've taken quite a long break from habit tracking in my monthly spreads, and I feel like the new year is a perfect time to get back into it, to really focus in on some of the goals I have for this new year and create a habit tracker that's going to help me stick with those goals. So I'm going to have 3 categories in this habit tracker. One entire category is going to be focused on my skincare. I've been struggling with a lot of really painful hormonal cystic acne ever since I switched birth control methods earlier this year. So there's been a lot that's gone into that. I've never been someone who's had any sort of skincare routine or really dealt with acne much. So this is all very new to me, and I've been learning a lot about how to take care of my skin while I'm struggling with this. And I found that using habit trackers on my weekly spreads just to keep track of that I'm doing my skincare routines in the morning and night, taking my vitamins, hydrating, all that good stuff has really helped me to make sure I'm being consistent and doing the most that I can do to help my skin while it's adjusting to the different hormone balances that's going on in my body right now. So I got my skincare section. I'm then gonna have a section for just personal habits, things like journaling, therapy, self-care, reading, socializing, watering my plants, and finally a final section for work-related habits. So just to keep track of when I'm responding to emails, shipping out orders, posting on social media, and stuff like that. I'm gonna grab these stamps that are on sheet 3 of the monthly kit. I really love these adorable little desert stamps. And I'm going to stick those in, just laying them along the left side of my habit tracker. And right next to those, I'm just going to label my 3 habit tracker categories. Now, the extra fun part to finish off this habit tracker spread, all I'm going to do is fill the whole bottom here with decoration. I think maybe I'll put some of these little flowers in between, or maybe some of these more of these colorful circles to tie it all together. All right, just like that. And with the decoration entered in there, that is it for my January habit tracker. Really excited to see how this works out for me during the month of January. And let's flip the page and start setting up my next January spread. All right, so this next page is going to be a self-care bingo page. I did this back in November and absolutely loved it. It's basically just a list of self-care items to complete throughout the month laid out in a bingo square type of setup. And it's just a really good way to encourage myself to kind of treat myself to little self-care items. I've been trying to be really intentional about my self-care, and I found that having this page as a part of my monthly setup really helped me to follow through with that goal of making sure to intentionally do things for myself that I consider self-care. So I'm going to be setting up that bingo page right here. Okay, so I'm going to draw out my self-care bingo card here, which is just going to be a 5x5 grid. So each space on my grid is taking up a space that is 2.5 spaces wide by 2.5 spaces tall. I'm not exactly sure who invented the self-care bingo. I think it's something that's existed for quite a while, but one person that comes to mind who I know has done this in their bullet journal for years is Erin from Erin Floto Designs. I'll have her Instagram linked in the description down below in case you guys aren't familiar with Erin's account. And the self-care items I decided on for this month's self-care bingo are going to be art night, getting my nails done, having a coffee while I'm at work, doing a little photo shoot with myself, trying out a new recipe, getting dressed up, going on a date night, attending one of my therapy sessions, making some tea, getting some alone time, having a movie marathon, trying out a new TV show, sending a letter to my grandma, painting, karaoke night, ordering in food, sleeping in, drinking a glass of water, reading a book, cuddling with my cat Luna, taking the day off, stretching, and finally going to my favorite local arcade called Ground Control. So it's a good mix of items, ones that maybe cost some money, ones that are totally free, some things that I'm going to do anyways, even without trying, for example, reading or going to a therapy session. It's nice to give yourself some easy self-care items that you know you'll be able to check off, and some other ones that are maybe a little bit harder to do, but hopefully I can squeeze in during this next month. And I'm just excited to be using the self-care bingo again, and hopefully it encourages me to, put time into intentional self-care throughout this month. Next to my self-care bingo, to go right along with the self-care theme, I'm going to have my gratitude log for the month of January. I decided for this month I'm not going to do my normal daily review, which is usually a spot where I give myself a line every day to jot down a summary of that day. I actually kind of struggled to fill out my daily review in December, which is very not normal of me. Usually it's really easy for me to fill that out throughout the month, but I'm just taking that as a sign that maybe I need a little break from it to make it fresh and exciting again. So instead of doing a daily review or mood tracker, I'm just going to be doing a gratitude log for the month, which is going to give me just some spaces to jot down any particularly fun, exciting things that happened this month, anything I'm exceptionally grateful for. And I think that's going to be a really nice companion to my self-care bingo. So this is just going to be one big feel-good spread. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun filling out these 2 pages side by side throughout the month of January. I just love how colorful all of these are turning out. I didn't really plan on using watercolor in the rest of these functional setups. It's something I was just planning on using on the cover spread, but I'm glad I ended up busting it out for this because I really do love doing these fun little watercolor splashes. All right, I'm just gonna let that watercolor dry, and then that is it for my self-care bingo page and my gratitude log. I think this is one of my favorite spreads so far. I just love how this turned out. I love the colorful watercolor splashes over here. I'm really excited about my self-care bingo. And yeah, I just feel like this spread really shows what I'm trying to focus on for this first month of 2022. Obviously, I really do want to be productive, get lots of work done this month, but I want to make sure I'm still taking care of myself. That's been a really big theme of the last few months for me. It's like doing a lot of work, getting a lot done, but making sure to, at the end of the day, take care of me and make sure that I'm doing okay. So I feel like having the self-care and gratitude log here front and center is really going to highlight that throughout this month, and just makes me really excited to fill out these pages, seeing them all set up and ready here. So this next spread here is going to have 2 separate pages. We're going to have my January playlist on the left, which is going to be a page to keep track of the books, movies, music, TV shows that I'm consuming throughout this month. And then on the right, I'm going to have a brain dump page, which is just going to be a catch-all space for any random thoughts, ideas, or notes that I need to make throughout the month that don't quite have a home anywhere else in my journal. Now next I'm going to go in with my decoration, so I think I'm going to alternate some of my stamps with some of my decorative cacti and flower stickers along the bottom. So let's start with the stamps. I'm going to use these ones here that are from the Patreon exclusive sheet. All right, something like that, easy decoration. So now I need to figure out my different spaces here. So I think for my playlist, I'm gonna have let's see, maybe 3 different categories. And that is gonna be for books, movies, and then a third space just for other, which for me is usually TV shows and music. All right, and now to label these sections, I think I'm definitely gonna use 3 of these cute little flags here. Let's see, maybe I'll stick them in sideways like this. I think I'll also stick in a cactus on the right side of each of these categories. I think I'm also actually gonna turn my flags around. Let's see, and I think I'll use my stamps for those category headers since we haven't used the stamps on this page yet. So first one is going to be books. Under that is going to be movies, and the third section is going to be other. While I'm finishing up this playlist page too, I'd love to hear in the comments about any good books, movies, TV shows, or new music you guys have discovered recently. I'm currently listening to the audiobook The Martian. I've seen the movie. It's a Matt Damon movie about a astronaut basically who becomes stranded on Mars, and the audiobook has been fantastic so far. I really, really love it. And let me think. Oh, for Christmas, I also received the book, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I have started reading. Jake got me that book. He's been hearing me talk about it for months, that it's a book I want to read, and it's been on hold for like weeks through my library's audiobook service. So I've just been waiting and waiting to be able to listen to that audiobook. So for Christmas, Jake decided to get me the physical book, and it's been so good. Such a good, fun, easy read. So those are the 2 books I'm currently reading. And let me think about if there's any good movies. Oh, I actually just last night watched the movie, what is it called? Don't Look Up. That's what it's called. It's a new Netflix movie that has like a crazy all-star cast. It's Jennifer Lawrence, Leonardo DiCaprio, Jonah Hill, Meryl Streep. But it's a really good movie basically about some scientists who discovered that a meteor is coming to destroy Earth, and it was really good, really funny, and I really loved the ending. So those are some books and movies that I've been getting into recently. So definitely let me know in the comments below any books, movies, TV shows, or music that you've been getting into this last month. I'd love to hear it, love to get some recommendations from you guys. And with that, that is it for my playlist and my brain dump. 2 just easy, fun pages to fill out throughout the month of January. And with that, that is going to be all of my functional monthly spreads. So I got my calendar for the month. It's got my bill schedule, my tasks and goals. I got my habit tracker, which I'm excited about. My self-care and gratitude page. I think this is still my favorite spread. I just love how colorful it is. And finally, my playlist and brain dump page. So the last thing I'm going to set up in this video is going to be a weekly spread, and this is going to be for the first full week of January. So I'm going to do this for, let's see, January 3rd through 9th. Okay, so this weekly spread I've decided is going to be a Dutch door weekly. So what I'm going to do is use my X-Acto knife, and I'm just going to put a scrap piece of paper behind here, and I'm going to cut off the top of this right spread. So now I have this flap here, and on this whole lower section, I'm going to have my 7 days of the week. I love using Dutch doors on weekly spreads as a way to just give me a little bit more room. A Dutch door like this really gives me a good chunk of space for each day, and it usually ensures that I'm going to have enough room on each daily section for my full to-do list that day. So I really love this particular Dutch door weekly setup. And now I'm going to put in my weekly headers. I have a few options here left in my sticker collection. I was thinking of using these ones here. I think I'll do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on the front, and then the rest of the week on the back. And then this space to the left is just going to be sort of like a decorative area. So I'll do my January header with my brush pen at the top here, and then use my stamps to put in 3rd through 9th. Now I'm going to fill in this empty section on the bottom left here just with some decoration. Let's see, let me think about a random quote to put above these cacti here. Actually, I think maybe I will copy one of these quotes I put on this Patreon only sheet. So maybe I'll do this one. It says, "If a flower can flourish in the desert, you can flourish anywhere." Now I'm going to create some dates on my daily sections in the bottom right corner, and I'm going to alternate some of the flower stickers with some of these remaining little animals. And I'm going to use my stamps to stamp in the dates on top of those. On the top right here, I'm going to create 2 sections. One is going to be for bills that are due throughout this week, and then another section for any appointments that I have, things like therapy sessions, live streams, anything that's like time specific that I need to make sure I am keeping track of. And I'm just going to have those 2 sections be right next to each other on the right side of the spread. And finally, the last part of this spread is just going to be a weekly task list, which is going to be on the upper left. I'm going to use this washi strip sticker here, write out a little tasks header, put in some dots with my black Crayola marker, and that should be it for this weekly spread. Let me see if there's anything else I want to add, but I feel like that's looking pretty good. I got my bills and appointments for the week, I got a weekly task list, and then I got ample space for every day for my daily to-do lists, and I've got my dates along the bottom there. So I think that is it. I'm completely done with my January setup. Let's flip through what I set up today and just kind of do a little review of everything in my January bullet journal setup for 2022. So I absolutely love this cover spread. It kind of makes me wish I would have used the watercolor more throughout this setup, but I intentionally didn't just because watercolor makes this setup take a lot longer, and I wanted to try to keep this relatively simple, not getting too extra with the watercolor. But I love what I did for this cover spread here. Makes me really excited that this is the start of this brand new journal. I feel like it starts pretty strong with this beautiful watercolor desert silhouette scene. I then have my January calendar using that big orange calendar sticker. I love the big cactus next to it, and that's got my bill schedule and my tasks and goals for the month. After that, I have my habit tracker. This is a new addition this month as I've taken quite a long break from habit tracking, but I'm trying to reintroduce it back in this year. So we got skincare, personal habits, and business habits just separated like that to make this super easy to fill in throughout the month. After that, we have my favorite spread of this setup, which is my self-care bingo page and my gratitude log for January. This spread makes me so happy. I'll just keep saying it over and over again. I love how this turned out. I love all the colors. This is definitely the spread I'm most excited to fill in throughout this next month. And then my final monthly spread is my playlist and brain dump, just a spot to jot down books, movies, shows, and music throughout the month. And then a brain dump section just as a catch-all space for any other notes, ideas, just random thoughts or musings I need to write down. And finally, I finished the setup off with this weekly spread, which is the first full week of January, January 3rd through 9th, utilizing one of my favorite Dutch store weekly spread layouts, just having all of my daily sections along the bottom here. And that is it, guys. That is my entire January monthly bullet journal setup. Makes me really excited for the new month to start. I honestly do get a lot of kind of nerves and anxiety around the new year starting, especially since I feel like I always have so much that I didn't really get to do throughout the year. I'm a little bit in like disbelief and shock that this year is over already, but having my bullet journal spread set up relieves a lot of that anxiety for me. It makes me excited about the new month. It makes me excited to use the spreads that I set up. And yeah, I just really love how this whole setup turned out. I loved using my desert cactus sticker collection as well. I know some people are often curious how much of the collection I use when I set up my monthly spreads. So here you can see what I have left. And all of these stickers that I still have left, I'm going to be using for my weekly and daily spreads throughout the month of January. So all of these stickers will go to use. I generally try to use every sticker in the collection. Don't let anything go to waste. If you are interested in using this desert cactus theme in your own journal, all of the stickers I used today, with the exception of the Patreon only sheet, are available in my sticker shop. I'll have all the links to all the stickers I used down in the description below, including the desert cactus sticker collection. So if you're interested in using that theme, you can place an order for those stickers from my shop. I'll also have my Patreon link down below where you can sign up for automatic sticker deliveries. There's also printables, live streams, digital stickers, all sorts of fun stuff over there, and just a really incredible community over on Patreon. So with that, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed watching me set up my January bullet journal spreads. Don't forget to read the description for all the fun links to everything I mentioned today. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, a wonderful end to 2021 and start to 2022, and I'll see you next time. Bye.